Hello, my night owls. Tonight we're going to be looking at a play called Fefu and Her Friends. Now, this is a very interesting play. It's not done in acts, it's done in parts, and you're meant to see them out of order. Fefu and Her Friends was written by Maria Irene Fornes, and it's set in New England. There, with all the action takes place in one day. So this entire play is a summary of one day. Part 1 and 3 take place in the living room, and then part 2 in the afternoon hours has 4 sets, so bounces between 4 locations: the lawn, the study, the bedroom, and the kitchen. Fefu's friends, named Sydney and Christina, start off in the living room when the play opens, and the other women arrive at the house by lunchtime and invited there to prepare a presentation for an education group, which they're members. It's all great and fun. They talk about themselves, their lives, each other, especially Fefu, the central figure who seems to know them all. Fefu says whatever's on her mind, whether it's appropriate or relevant or, appropriate. Oh, wait, I already said that. She seems to be obviously trying to shock the others around her, which is interesting. It is her house party though, so she wants to attract all of the attention she can. Now, this is a very interesting play. I tried reading it a couple different ways and got some very different vibes from it every way I read it. But part 2 was really, truly very innovating, if you ask me, because it changes the entire way the performance goes. You don't see it in order, and you're not meant to, because you can read the script in order, and it's like, oh yeah, that's one way to do it. But to get the true, genuine experience, if even through reading the script, which I feel like one can't really do with a production like this, you have to read the parts. You have to read the different areas of part 2 out of order. You have to scroll to the kitchen and then go to, the bedroom, and after that go somewhere else. It's all about reading it out of order. But part 1, 3, 1, 2, 3 do go in order. You read them in order, parts 1, 2, and 3. However, in part 2, you get the chance to change how you perceive the story, and it's really, really fascinating. Especially with the idea that the all four of the performances going on for part 2 are going on at the same time. It's just absolutely amazing. But that's not really what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about how this relates to gender and sexuality and all that fun stuff. So, yeah. It does have a couple themes in it that sort of relate back to our class. It has poverty and feminism. And, there is some symbolism going on. Julia is clearly the victim in the play. Her symbol is, a deer. There's connection between her and the deer. She has hallucinations in the bedroom. And there's the prayer, which is obviously shaking to a lot of people. But no, Julia isn't just like a random victim that got thrown in here. Julia is being more or less controlled by Fefu, and Fefu's aggressive and controlling behavior. And Fefu symbols a gun, and it's part of the cause of inequality, and that's what it's trying to show. And this play has a really interesting view on the difference between men and women, because they believe that women have this sort of dark interior, that they're the weak gender. They have reluctance, and Fefu views women very passively. Like, I don't agree. And then the men are shown as, the smooth and shiny people, men's freedom, strength, control, the advantages of being a man. It's a whole thing in this play, let me tell you. But there are two different sides to Fefu, as there are to many characters. There's the smooth, sleek exterior, which is like smooth, dry, clean, joyous attitude, personality, just kind of seems like a really happy person, but on the inside, it gets a lot more dubious. There's self questioning and insecurity and a lot of problems like that that I think everyone can relate to, regardless of gender or sex. And this is just a really interesting play, and I know this is my shorter review, but it's going to be a little bit longer tonight just because I want to make sure I can talk about everything that I want to say. Now, it does touch on sexuality as well, it's not just gender. Fefu and Emma, two women doing manly things. Emma has Emma's sex is like the smooth exterior of stone. Fefu's symbol is, very different. One Can Die of Fright was a really interesting thing from this play. It's when it's sort of Fefu versus Christina and Cindy, the conservative woman, and it kind of shows women and how their voice works in a man's world. And it seems very problematic because it is. But there's also the topic of community and subjectivity when it comes to this because it's impossible to become part of a community completely on your own. You have to have a way to be accepted into a community. And even then, sometimes you just have to find like-minded people and create your own community. And there will always be sort of a community between women because they all know things and they all there's that inherent click. Like it's like when you put gays in a room. They may have never spoken before, but they already have like 1,000 obscure common interests. It's kind of like that as far as communities go. But this is just a really interesting play, and I see it kind of as pulling from the blue blanket and the pink blanket, as we discussed. Fefu pulls from the blue blanket with, being violent and action and the fight, walk, try kind of person, and Julia pulls from the pink blanket with the passivity. I think that's how you say it. I don't know, it sounded like a word. And paralysis, and I can't, I'm tired. She's very submissive, very, I don't know. I have a lot of feelings about this. Fefu has a triumph and a bit of an influence on today's women. This play does show that unity is the key to success, which is a very important point to illustrate and to show because that's a very important thing in general. Now, my night owls, if you have any other comments, please don't be afraid to let me know down below. And with that, good night and sleep tight.